As you come in, please mute your phones, and make sure we don't disturb anybody while else we're on here. All right, guys. So we are 2 years in on this journey, from the time I originally thought about the idea, decided to launch the fund, to where we are now. And so you guys probably seen this aerial several times. What's really cool about it now is that we got control of over things on both sides of this picture now. That the building in the back also is going to be phase two of buying the block up in this neighborhood. So I'm gonna start by doing what I always do, going over the root of this whole mission. We're addressing gentrification, the process by which a part of a city changes from being a poorer area to a richer one, and people from higher social class begin to move in. Usually, if no one advocates for the poor residents, they become displaced. Okay, so our mission is to change the narrative of gentrification through redevelopment that balances the opportunity to attract higher income people back to the community out of the suburbs, while ensuring existing residents are not displaced in the process. So as you guys remember, this is what the site we bought, the 18 houses, the 2 commercial buildings. There wasn't a whole lot of activity going on in the area at the time, but we knew it was coming. One of the big projects that was a catalyst for all the redevelopment was this site here, $2.4 billion project, 150 acres. When we started the project, there was no activity on the site, but we knew that it was coming. And here's the image of one of my write-ups that they did on the project and our crowd fund after we had started the process but had not completed the acquisition yet. One of the key things that I want to remind everybody of is the family that we bought this from was a Black family that owned the entire block. Unfortunately, the middle of last year, Mr. Albert, who was the husband of the husband and wife, he actually passed away. So what we did was we actually renamed the property after him. If you look in the corner, it says Stevens Court now. So this block is named after the original owners that we got the property from, and allowed us time to do the crowd fund. So guessing everybody has seen the video. If you haven't seen the video, I'm gonna go ahead and play it for you just for a second, so that I want to make sure everybody has seen this entire video. It's going to make it a lot easier as I go through the rest of the presentation. Oh yeah, thanks for telling me about the capacity. I just upgraded the capacity so that more people can get in. Okay, 1 second. We'll share screen. We're gonna go to share sound. We're gonna go here. Okay, I'll take this full screen. Okay. So let everybody watch this short little 6-minute video. 3 years ago, I set out on a mission to create the blueprint for how we could go into our own neighborhoods, buy blocks, renovate them, and combat the negative effects of gentrification. Today, that vision is reality. Our project is located in the heart of the historic Lyons Avenue Business District in 5th Ward of Houston. Lyons Avenue was once a thriving Black business district with businesses and commerce. However, after desegregation, that all changed. Now, we are recreating that legacy. These buildings are 100 years old. We just gave them a new life. This house was built in 1925 and was vacant for years. It's now a podcast studio and is rented out as an event space for everything from engagement parties to TV commercials, music videos. Uh-oh. Let's see what is going on here. City council even had meetings here. We've had birthday parties. We've had baby showers. And the $5,000 to $10,000 a month generated in this building helps us not have to raise the rents on the tenants that live on the block. We also have one of the 1-bed, 1-bath houses on the property that we converted into a short-term rental, Airbnb, to ensure additional revenue. This house was built in 1960 and is advertised as a community bungalow in the heart of the revitalizing 5th Ward. This unit generates another $1,500 to $2,500 per month, which further ensures that we have enough additional revenue so that we don't have to go to the tenants and tell them we're going to have to raise their rents anytime soon. The other 17 houses on the block are occupied by long-term tenants that all pay between $500 and $700 a month, and they are on fixed incomes. Some tenants have been living on the property for as long as 30 years. As we pass over the property, you can see on the back side of the block, new construction coming. When I started this project, I said the area was revitalizing, I said the neighborhood was changing, and I said we needed to be in the forefront of it. As the community continues to revitalize, we stand to profit from the value appreciation, and we also benefit from the impact that we have on the community. As we go west on Lyons Avenue, we see the interstate that cut through Fifth Ward's business district, causing negative impacts to the local economy as these highway systems did across the country. This story, however, will be one of triumph. I have been working on a project just on the other side, another block that will change the trajectory of this story. I purchased this church campus with a small group of investors. This 5.3 acre site will be redeveloped into a large apartment complex for young working professionals, civil servants, teachers, and entrepreneurs. This demographic will be attractive to businesses and help bring retail and grocery back. This 3D animation shows a rendering of what the new building will look like. It will be a modern, moderately priced development that will be the model for what we can do in our own communities across the country. So I named it The Mod. We're planning to keep the exterior of the old sanctuary that was built in 1947 in recognition of the significance of this landmark and what it meant to Fifth Ward. But it doesn't stop there. On the north end of the campus, there will be a top-performing charter school system that thrives in low-income communities and competes academically with the best schools across the country. So as you can see, instead of solely depending on the development projects of others to increase the property values of our investments, I'm spearheading the revitalization with projects I know the community needs. Projects that will attract the type of residents we all want to see moving back as the neighborhood reaches the prominence it once had. Last but not least, as we pass over the second freeway that sliced through Fifth Ward, I want to give you an update on the main project that was the entire catalyst for the gentrification in Fifth Ward. This huge redevelopment project that's going to be about $2.4 billion has started construction. This is the project I mentioned in the original By the Block proposal. You see all these renderings? These are not ideas. This is what actually is coming to this site in Fifth Ward, along Buffalo Bayou. They recently announced they're adding a golf course to the site, a 9-hole par 3 golf course that will actually be the first part of the development that's finished. Yes, this will be finished by summer of 2022. So as you can see, the neighborhood is changing tremendously. We are in the forefront. We own prime real estate in Fifth Ward. We are going to continue to expand our footprint. We're going to continue to own, and we now have control of the narrative as the neighborhood is redeveloped. So I appreciate everyone that saw my vision. We have implemented it. We have created a new blueprint for what we can do in our own communities. We bought the block. All right. Let's see. We'll stop the share on that one. Yeah, so that gives everybody a really good overview of what we've been doing and the impact that we are having with this project. Let me get back to the to our PowerPoint presentation here. Give me 1 second. Let me hop back over. Share screen. PowerPoint share. Okay. So even the house in the picture, you can see it's almost, I mean, in the video, it was just framed up. You see, it's already, they got the siding on it. This house will be finished probably in the next month or so. Once that's done and sold, that the backside of the property that we have is that whole street's going to change. So like I said, the property that we have, because we own it and control it, we're protecting those residents. We're preventing other investors from coming in and trying to buy that property and get those tenants moved out. This is another unit on the property that we're currently renovating. We had another long-term tenant, Miss Vilva O'Neill, who had been living on the site for about 12 years, but she just got up in her age, and her children decided that they wanted to move her over to assisted living facility. So we're doing some modest renovations to the unit, doing new flooring. We're going to touch up paint. I'm just making it nice for another resident. The rent that she was paying was $525. We'll probably go up to about $625, something like that on the property, something to make it still really affordable for the community, but something that allow us to get a return on the money we're spending, putting additional renovations into the property. Just to give you guys an overview of where we are with the numbers, I'm going to get kind of into the business side of everything now. When we bought the property, the value was 1.3 million, even though we only purchased it for 1.27. I mean 1.25. So we had $75,000 in equity. Put about 435 into renovations and repairs on the property. Current estimated equity, because I haven't gotten it reappraised again. The last appraisal came back at 1.775. So I'm conservatively saying we've at least got another 100,000 in value. It's probably more than that. I'll probably do another appraisal this summer for our summer update so we can know exactly where we are. I do expect it to be at 2 million or over 2 million by then because of all the activity going on in the area. The golf course will be done. There's a lot of new construction going on around besides the ones I showed you. So I know the value is going to continue to go up. So one of the biggest changes we've had so far is the new valuation of the property and the tax increases. So this is one of the things that you always hear about in gentrification problems, or when neighborhoods are going through redevelopment. As things get nicer, property taxes do go up. So for ours, you can see when we closed on it, even though the actual appraisal came in at 1.3 million, the tax rolls had it valued at 700,000. So our property taxes were 16,000 a year. Now the appraisal district has reevaluated the property, and they have it at 1.2 million, which is still good for us because it's really worth almost a full 2 million. So our property taxes have gone up about $12,000 per year. This is a very detailed spreadsheet that kind of goes through and shows each month, each unit's rent. And what I really want to kind of point out to you all is the two units, the unit at the bottom here on line 21. This is the peer space unit, the one that we turned into an event space. In the video, I mentioned that it gets between $6,000 to $10,000 a month in gross revenue. So the net numbers we're netting on that one house between the highest right here we're looking at is $6,598, so $6,600. The slowest month was October when Omicron really hit hard, COVID, and we still got almost $2,600 a month in net after paying all the bills on that. And then the other one bedroom, one bath house that I converted over to an Airbnb short-term rental to help us offset the cost, would offset the need to have to raise the rents on the residents. This unit, you can see we're netting between 2,500 a month, and the lowest month was 1,200, but that's because we had some repairs that we did on the unit that month to beef up insulation and some other things because it got colder than we expected this year. But yeah, overall, you can look all the way to the right in the green, and you can see the total gross revenue from the property was 192,000. When we bought it, I think the first year we did 95,000. So we've pretty much doubled the annual gross revenue. Expenses have also gone up. In total, we had about 53,000 in expenses, and I'll break this down for you a little bit easier for you to read here. So we did get a grant. As a matter of fact, let me go back to the previous slide. So you see all these numbers in red at the top. These are tenants that are behind on rent. But the Houston and Harris County has a program right now where they will reimburse landlords that are lenient with their tenants to allow them not to be displaced. So that's what we've been doing. And that's another reason why it was really important for us to create these other income streams like the peer space and the Airbnb, so that we can be patient with some of these residents as they're in between jobs and trying to figure out, what the next step is. I don't know if you all remember, but we don't have a single Section 8 tenant on the property. Everybody that lives on our property is hardworking, low income people that just have pride in living in Fifth Ward, and they want to stay there. So if you look at the second line item we have here, so on top of the $192,000 that we actually got from the property itself, we did get that $10,000 grant uh, from Harris County for us allowing those residents to stay, and we're applying for another one for this year for 2022. So I expect to get that as well. So these are just a breakdown of the expenses we've had for the property this year. Property management is between I had an administrative assistant to help, as well as the cleaning crews that clean in between the events at the pier space, and then just the on-site crew. We do have one of the residents that lives there at a discounted rate, but he also helps with property management on site. So then we have repairs, utilities, and the other expenses. Well, I'm sorry, the expense total is 84,000, including all of these things. So now to the important part. A lot of people have been asking questions about the investment, the value, the platform changes. I know we've had a lot of issues so far with this part of the project. So what I did was I put together a little simple spreadsheet that's going to let you know exactly where your valuation is on the property, on the project as a shareholder. And I'll zoom in on this chart so you can see. So if you know how much you invested, the original investment amount is in this column, the second to the last green column. So however much you invested, then you can just follow that row and it'll tell you where your investment lies. Number one, when everyone bought, we bought at $50 a share. So the share value has increased by $2 already. That was within the first year. I expect when a new appraisal comes back, it'll go up another $3 or so. So you'll be at $55 per share, which is a 10% return just on the value of the investment, not including your payouts. Then you look at the distributions. For instance, this last round, if we take all of the net profits multiplied by the 40%, which is taken and distributed amongst all the shareholders, it equates to about it's really a little bit less than 4%. It's really about 3%, 3.5%, but I've just been paying out 4% to everybody because it just makes sense. I know we're going to have a lot of value increase in the future. And that's really just, my portion of the investment. I'm just kind of deferring my payouts to make sure all the investors get a fair share of what's going on as we move through this project and continue to trailblaze this new model. But as you can see, all the way to the right, it's the green columns, the dark green columns. Number one, the first one says total value. That is your share value increase. And then that also shows your distributions added to that for the 3 rounds. A few people have taken distributions out. Others have left them in. The ones that leave them in, as more shares become available, you're first in line to buy more shares. Then everyone else after that will, if there's anything left, then you have the opportunity to buy more as well. But if you look at where we are all the way to the last 2 columns, it shows you, at whatever investment level you are, this is where basically your profit is, the value of your investment has gained. And then that shows you the return in the last column, which is 16%, which is pretty good. 16% over about 18 months. So that's not like a 1-year return, which would be extremely, extremely good. But for where we are with the project, to say that there's not a whole lot of redevelopment that's happened already, everything is just kind of still in the works. We're on pace to do very well with the project. We're going to exceed the value increases that I estimated in the original By the Block campaign, which I did it on purpose. I wanted to be very conservative. I wanted to under promise and over deliver for all the investors involved, just in case something came up and something got delayed. Rather be conservative than to oversell it. Okay, so when we started with By the Block, we were the biggest crowdfund that they've ever had. We're the only one on their platform that raised the full $1 million. What that also meant is we had a whole lot more investors than they were used to dealing with. And so we had a lot of issues with communications, with improper emails going out, emails not reaching everybody. And I think they got very much overwhelmed with the size of the administrative part of the project. So they referred us over to Core Connects. Core Connects is a platform that handles bigger raises. So their main bread and butter are the huge accredited investor raises where somebody's raising 75 million, $100 million. Minimum investment is 50,000, 100,000. But they opened up a division for these smaller funds. And so they took us on and they allowed us to come over to their platform. They have a lot more features on there. However, we're still having a few challenges with them. We are literally one of the only crowd funds to have bought something that was already paying out cash flow, that was already ready to have value increases on it. Most other crowdfund raises were for startup companies, which means it's going to take years for that company to have a real value. It's going to take years for that investment to start paying out distributions to shareholders. And so as such, they did not, none of these platforms for crowdfund, for the Regulation CF crowdfund, put a lot of money into the back end to design their platforms and their shareholder accounts to be able to accommodate that. And so that's the challenge. So they are building it out now. And I was promised that it would be done, fourth quarter last year. However, they're behind, which is another reason why I put the distribution paperwork out for everybody. So you can just kind of look at the chart and know that your investment is solid. The money's there. We're just waiting for the platform to catch up to be able to show it, where you can just go into your account, click on it and see these numbers, but it is coming soon. So like I said, the platforms are catching up. It's a blessing for our project to be so successful that we're actually ahead of the industry, and we are in the forefront. As a matter of fact, I really believe we are the only Regulation CF crowdfund where all shareholders have gotten paid out 3 times with these third round distributions. So with that, I didn't want to make the presentation too long. All this information is going to be in the Houston blockvestorupdates.com folder. You can always go there. It's just basically a Dropbox folder. I just put a website, a URL on it, a domain for you to be able to go and find it easily. But you go over there, the Dropbox folder is always going to have all the information on all the shareholder updates, past and present. And it also have information for our future meetings that'll be in there as well. And what's really important, guys, is what I'm trying to do is find the best way to streamline the communication. So I have a couple of different email distribution platforms that can be tied to this email address that I have. So what I really need everyone to do is go into your whatever main email inbox you use and add me as a contact. Just put my name or whatever you want to put it as, by the block, whatever, and then put this email address in, csenegal@invictusdg.com. That way, your email will never recognize it as spam. It'll always reach your inbox, and you can make sure that you don't miss any future communications that we may have as we go forward, and we continue to, set trends and do more projects, and continue to give you guys updates. So with that, first 30 minutes down, I wanted to give everybody time to, you can either type a question in the chat box or you can ask me a question directly. If you want to unmute, I'll give everybody time to do that.
I have a question.
Yes.
Keith Davis from Los Angeles, California. First of all, I just want to say congratulations. I am very proud of you. I think that I speak for all of us in here, what you're doing. And I wanted to find out, how can your investors help you, even help themselves to further save the block by possibly purchasing some of the properties, the old homes or whatever, for themselves to put it on lockdown? Do you have anything in place, especially for those who are out of state who might be interested in buying a single family home or maybe a multi-family home? If it needs fixing up, we can possibly, reach out to you to get the construction done and just to be able to tie it down so that the gentrifiers won't come in, to expedite the process.
That's a great question. So that's very possible. What I'll do is as I get leads for properties like that, I can put them in the Blockbuster folder. And I'm trying to think what other resources I could put in front of everybody that could really help.
Realtors.
Yeah, I'm trying to think the best realtors, because what I don't want to do is put you in front of people that are too busy, where they don't have the actual time to work with out-of-town investors. But let me think through that, Keith. Let me not jump the gun. I'll brainstorm on that, and we'll figure out some solutions. That's definitely something that's viable and feasible that we should be doing. Yeah, because like I said, every other project we do around, our co-investment is going to help everybody involved. So I really like that question. And I'm going to definitely make a note of that.
Thank
So
you.
that, yeah, I'll get an answer for that for sure. All right. Does anybody else have any questions?
Hi, Chris. This is Felicia Latson. We spoke just a couple of weeks ago. Wanted to follow up on my previous question about getting a PDF document of the Core Connects service agreement, so that I can go ahead and sign that and be able to log in. And then I forgot my second question. I'm sorry. So I'll come back around that. But yeah, I just wanted to be able to get that actual documentation before I sign the Core Connect service agreement. Okay.
So I think the best thing you can do is email them support@coreconnects.com and copy me on it.
Okay.
Because I know they're always updating their legal documents to make sure you have the most current one that needs to be signed right now.
Okay. And then my second question, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
My second question was, can you drop the link to that Dropbox
Yes.
where we can log in
Yes.
and see things that you're sharing?
Yeah, let me put that in the group chat, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
And congrats on everything.
Thank you. Congrats to all of us. This is a shared effort, Houston. Let me put this in here. Blockbuster updates. And then I'll put the email support at coreconnects.com. Yeah, so anybody having issues with your account, Core Connects. Also, in the Houston Blockbuster updates folder, there's a five or 6 page instruction PDF on how to set up your account on Core Connects if you haven't done it yet. But any emails or any issues you're having logging or getting access, send it to that support@Core Connects email address, and you can copy me on it, and I'll make sure we get those issues resolved.
Chris, it's Christine. Quick question for you. I know, COVID is still up and rampant, but do you plan in the future to have, open house, networking event or anything, for some of your closer to Houston investors?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for everybody. If you want to fly in, you can fly in too. I've really been wanting to do it, but it seems like every time, everything's starting to clear up, the COVID resurfaces. But I know it's something we got to become used to living with going forward. So I definitely want to plan that out pretty soon. Maybe right before the summer meeting, we can do that. And a few people have reached out individually as they come to town and they want to come by the property and take tours. And I've done that several times. So if any of you want to do that, feel free to reach out. Let me know when you're in town, and I'll try to carve out a little while to meet you there personally. Worst case, I can just, I can open some of the things remotely, like the peer space, and you can kind of take a tour, and you can see all that other activity in the area. But yeah, the goal is definitely to get everybody together, as many people as together, and make it happen more frequently, maybe once a quarter, twice a year, something like that, where we can all, meet up, mingle, and plan future projects.
Sounds good. Thanks, Chris.
And Chris, this is Brandy. I sent you a direct message.
Oh, okay. You sent it on here?
Yes.
Okay. Do me a favor, send me an email, or however you got the information about if you got the text message or the email, reply to that, because once I'm not sure if I'll be able to catch everything. It's a whole lot of messages coming through on here.
Hey, Chris.
Yep. Yes, sir.
This is Tahid Robinson. I had a question to kind of piggyback off what Keith said and the last young lady that was speaking said. Mm-hmm. Is there like a central hub that we can go to for people who are interested in investing in y'all or working for you guys in other capacities, whether it be in real estate, learning the investment process, being closer to that instead of just throwing the money at things, right? Like So I believe you could probably grow bigger with help. And you got other
Right.
people who want to kind of follow in your footsteps. So
Yeah.
being part of that to soak up some of that energy.
So I actually did just launch the Facebook community. That would be a great place for us to start with it. It's called Drive the Block. So if anybody wants to look it up, you can go to Facebook, just type in Drive the Block with Chris, Drive the Block with Chris. And you know, and that's a great place actually for me to post things as well, to have wholesalers and everybody all in the same circle, that if anybody's looking for something in Fifth Ward.
It's called Drive the Block with Chris.
Yeah, Drive the Block with Chris.
Yeah, because like I say, I'm in the process of just finishing on my license, but I'm transitioning out of the trucking company that I was owning and looking
Okay.
for opportunities within real estate already.
Yeah.
Besides just the investment portion that we're doing. So if there's like a central hub that's also this same, that has this same energy as far as us gentrifying the area that are on our own timelines,
Yeah.
I think it would be awesome. But I looked through the website and I really didn't see a place where it has that.
Yeah, you know what? I haven't. My focus was so much on. Uh-oh. Hey, Missy, can you mute your phone if you don't mind? Yeah, my focus of the first year and a half was like, hey, I'm doing something that's never been done before. So I really got to focus on protecting everybody's money, making sure this is a success. And now that, you know, we're kind of catching the pace of how everything's going, and it's flowing a lot more smoothly. Now I have more time to focus on some of the other components of it. Number one. Number two, I really didn't want to teach it or, you know, put too much stress on it until I knew that the model actually was going to work.
Right.
So we're there now.
It's still in its infancy, I know, but I see so much potential that it has that your knowledge, you know, people want to soak that knowledge up and be as close to these type of projects as possible versus just, hey, let me throw some money at something, see if it, you know what I mean?
Right. 100%. I agree 100%.
Hey, Chris.
Hey.
I have a question. This is Adrian in Maryland.
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to focus in on this project that we have. So I know in the video that you sent out a couple weeks back that we turned one of the units into Airbnb. Is that plan going forward as tenants move out to switch over to short-term leasing, or have you come up with a plan for the rental units? And then also my next question would be, what is the plan for the second commercial building?
Oh yeah. So so first question, no, we're not gonna turn all of them into Airbnbs, because we kind of be defeating the purpose, you know, because I want to make sure we have affordable units for renters. I just wanted to basically hedge our bet for certain circumstances where a lot of the residents or a few of the residents can't pay their rent, where we have enough revenue coming in and where, you know, if things aren't getting thin, where we have to try to think about raising rents. So that's definitely the goal there. And then the other building is still going to be the coffee shop, but once again, because of COVID, I didn't want to sink all the money into the building, because coffee shops aren't really high margin investments. They're more community focused investments, especially in the early stages of a revitalizing neighborhood. So I've just kind of had that on hold until we feel like it's a good time for us to bring in, you know, a business where it's going to be high concentration of people, you know, in the facility. So it's going to cost us about $120,000 to do the project. And like I said, just want to be conservative with what we do until that point. And was that all the question, or was there one more? Did I miss one more?
Nope, that was all my questions. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Hi, Chris.
Hi,
Eeny, meeny, miny, I couldn't tell who was first.
I couldn't either.
Okay, go ahead, Missy.
This is Missy. I'm sorry. Just really quickly, because I've seen it a couple of times in the chat. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much. I literally paid into this and have not looked back. I didn't even know we had done 3 payouts. Literal blind trust. And it was one of those decisions that I made that I totally am glad I did, and I do not regret. So that being said, and I'm fine with not having gotten the disbursements. I wouldn't have taken them anyway. My main concern is availability of additional shares, and I think that's a question that others have. Saw somebody say something about a disclosure in October. So have there been some already available, and me working so much I've missed it, or what?
No, luckily you have not missed it. That's another part of us being so ahead of the curve. That the platform they have the capacity for us to trade shares, basically like the stock market trades. What's called the second. You create your own secondary market, but that service on Core Connects costs like 50 grand. And so when we look at, what our profitability is right now, it didn't really make sense.
Okay.
So I do have a manual process that we're going through right now, where I don't know, when I did send that survey out, we had about 43 people that wanted to get out. So I did buy all their shares back. So I bought about $80,000 worth of shares back from people. And so I do have those now. And I'm going to go back to everyone should have gotten an email mid last year asking if you wanted to buy more shares or if you want to sell your shares and if you had signed up for Core Connects. So I'm starting with that list first. Everybody that said they wanted to buy shares, and after this,
is it too late to get on the list? I'm probably way at the bottom now.
I mean, yeah, you can get on the list, but I'll be honest. We had 42 people that wanted to sell, and I had like 180 people that wanted to buy more. Now, I will tell you this: I did have two guys that they were making so much money in the stock market, but they had bought like $10,000 worth of shares, so they bought like 200 shares a piece. So that is a lot of available shares. That if everybody's looking just maybe double up on the 5 you have or the 10 you have, there may be still opportunity for everybody to get some. I'm not sure.
Okay. So how would I go about getting on that list just in case?
I guess I'll send another. I tell you what, reply to me however you got the information for this. Anybody that wants to get on the list, and I'll send you guys the link to the form to register.
So I need to reply to what, so I can make sure.
However you got the contact information for this Zoom.
For this Zoom via text. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Perfect. Okay, I'm a frontline healthcare worker and have been so 60 plus hours a week. So I miss a lot, but I'm trying to get with it. So y'all just work with
understood.
it right
Understood. Yeah. No. If you yeah, because I know some people the text messages weren't going through; they were getting blocked. The emails were going through; it was getting blocked. So I'm trying to reach everybody any way I can. Smoke signal, something.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
So, Chris, did the opportunity to purchase more shares come out yet?
No, I'm gonna be announcing it next week. I wanted to make sure that I bought all the shares back first because our attorneys were saying it may look like a Ponzi scheme if I sell shares first, and then go back and buy them, then it looks like I'm not really using the project's money to buy them back. So just to keep everything clear and no gray area, I had to buy everything back first and then offer the other ones for sale.
And so I know you said Core Connects was like, a little behind the curve as far as like updating their system. I did receive the email regarding our first dividend payout, but I don't think I received an email for the other two. So will that all be updated within Core Connects or?
Yes, it will be.
Okay.
It'll all be updated within Core Connects.
Okay.
Well, yeah, the first one came from Buy the Block when we were on that platform.
Right.
I'll get it.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Okay, I think we had landlord first, and then whoever spoke after that.
Yeah, Chris, Melvin Walker, New York. How you doing?
Pretty good.
So getting back to that real quick, what she said about the shares, that the payout. So when we like I put for my shares to go back into the company. So would that be automatic, or do I have to do it every time the payment comes up? Well, like she said, I didn't see the other two payouts.
If you have not elected to get a payout, then the distributions are accruing. So it's automatically stacking up, and you have to actually elect for the payout.
Perfect. And the last question is, was there another type of crowdfunding that you were going to open up?
Zenobia, can you mute your phone if you don't mind? Let's see. I'm gonna mute everybody, and so you can unmute again, Melvin.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, then you can unmute again, Melvin. Sorry.
Yeah. So, is there another project for us to get involved in, or not yet?
Not yet. There was one other small one that I did, but it wasn't like an equity crowdfund. It was like a lending pool that we put together to kind of help some of these other wholesalers in Fifth Ward as well. but there will probably be another crowd fund later this year with a true project that'll be something that kind of piggybacks off of what we're doing already. But all my existing investors will be the first ones to know about it. Y'all will have the first opportunity to get in. And I mean, I'll be honest, we have about 1,500 people in this Buy the Block project, and I got a waiting list of about another 2,500 people that want to do it. That want to get in.
Right. I understand. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, appreciate it.
Ideally, the goal would be, you know, to not just go to other markets with it too. Like I don't understand Houston, I understand Fifth Ward. We can find other opportunities in other cities now that we have a blueprint, and you know, we can kind of multiply what we're doing.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Can I have
Hi. So
I see
Hello?
Winter. So I'm gonna trust Zoom because Zoom picks up whoever's voice it picks up first. So I'm gonna trust Winter and then whoever else was about to talk.
Okay. I wanted to know if you were dispersing paper shares. I usually don't request paper shares like whenever I'm buying stocks or whatever, or shares. But this is such a monumental thing that we're doing. I would definitely like to have some paper shares. I mean, and not even for all of them, but something sort of a keepsake for the shares that I own. Do you have any plans to send those out, or did I miss a disbursement of those? Just wondering.
I did not do that, but that is a great idea to send everybody just a paper shareholder certificate. That's a great idea. Let me make a note of that too. That'll be something that I can try to take care of that this summer.
Great. I would appreciate it because it is such a monumental thing. I would love to. And like I said, I never request paper shares of stocks or whatever, but this is a special project. So I would definitely like to have that.
I love that idea. That's a great idea. Thank you. I'll definitely implement that for everybody.
Hey,
Now-
Chris.
Yes.
Sorry.
Chris,
Have
can you
you-
hear me?
I can hear Alma. Who's Alma?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
this is me. How are you?
I'm good.
My pleasure to see everybody.
Our pleasure too.
So the dividends,
Mm-hmm.
they go, do I have to take the dividends out of the account to put it, or they go automatically to the checking account that I have?
Oh yeah. So no, right now, the first round Buy the Block did not have the functionality to do any type of electronic transfer. So I actually mailed out paper checks for everybody that wanted payouts. Core Connects is supposed to have the electronic transfer capability once that's set up. So what would happen was I would get the total amount of payouts for everybody that wants a distribution. I give that amount of money to them out of our project account, and then they disperse it to each individual investor to your account, and then you elect what to do with it, whether you want them to send a check or you want to deposit it directly into an account.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. So in order to go to direct to my account, I had to take it off, correct? Otherwise, it stay automatically grow up. That's
No, yeah. So you're gonna have to elect. Yeah. You have to go into the account, elect for the payout to be sent, and select how you want it sent.
Otherwise, it stay there and grow.
Right, and it stays there in the cruise, and then your other election will be to buy more shares with it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Will you be able to send out an email or an update once Core Connects is up to date?
Yes. As a matter of fact, what I really want to do is once they get all this lined out, we're gonna have another Zoom call. I'm gonna try to get the CEO from Core Connects, but at least the account executive that's running our account to get on there and walk everybody through how to do everything. And then that way everybody will actually have that point of contact in addition to just the support line, so that everybody can feel comfortable with maneuvering through their system.
Perfect. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you.
No problem. All right, who's next?
Hey Chris, can you hear me?
Yes. Yep.
How's it going? I'm kind of late to the meeting, and I'm hearing what's going on. I was just want to know if we can get like a recap or like a list of links again, just so I can kind of get caught up.
Yeah. So matter of fact, this is being recorded too. So the Houston Blockbuster updates folder, I'll just put the replay for the whole video in there so you can catch everything. We went through the video. I gave them updates on the numbers for the project, expenses, increased profitability, showed them where we were with the surrounding area, some of the redevelopment going on. Yeah, and we just got into the fact that we're so far ahead of the curve. We're the only U.S. crowd fund that has paid our distributions 3 times, that has value increases, that is ready to trade shares, and so it's been hard to find any platform that has the capacity to handle that so far. So,
right.
Yeah. So,
are we able to access? How do we access the video once it's recorded?
I'll put it back in. I know a lot of messages are going through the group. Let me put the link, the URL back into the group chat here. Let's see. It's HoustonBlockbusterUpdates.com. Houston BlockbusterUpdates.com. There we go. All right. I know we stepped on a few other people that are trying to ask questions at the same time, so feel free to go ahead.
Hi, Chris. I hope I'm not
Okay.
tagging in the same time as somebody else. But I had a question about like if there were like any forms that we should be getting, like, because it's time to file your taxes and stuff like that. I know for investments, you're supposed to like declare them and stuff, because the last thing I want to do is be owing the IRS some money.
Right,
So
right.
is there something we should be downloading, or will just like a screenshot do, or?
Yeah, let me. The accountant is working through that now. It's called a K1 statement, and it shows what you've invested into any type of asset. The good thing about real estate is you definitely won't owe anything for the next 2 or 3 years, because we invested so much money on the front end, just that $400,000 that we put in to the renovations plus the purchase price. We haven't made anywhere near that much revenue yet, and the IRS just favors real estate. So no one will owe anything. In a worst case, you'll have some carryover for next year, where you can actually get some more deductions for for the investment you got from this year. So yeah, but the dates for those have to be out by March 15th. So I'll get all that information out to everybody.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
Chris, I know you mentioned that the coffee shop would be in that commercial space. However, I have someone that's interested in putting a barber college in that space, and we actually did a walkthrough last Saturday of the property. So, how committed are you, and if there's some leeway to allow another investor in to utilize that space? What is the price for the lease for that space?
I was distracted by that shield you got on your wall, man. I like that a lot.
Yes, sir, good brother.
Yeah, but I'm not sure that we would, because a barbershop is a very specific use, and we'd have to change the layout of the facility. The thing I like about the coffee shop is we can kind of still do the peer space concept there as well, on the off hours, and generate more revenue. But the barbershop idea is a great idea, and I am actually looking at getting the property next door, which I think would be ideal for something like that. I'm not sure if you noticed it, but it was fenced off. It used to be the laundromat for the neighborhood, so it's got a lot of plumbing that already runs to the site, which will be.
Just for clarity, I said barber college, not barber shop.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking along the same lines, because you're gonna have so many sinks, you're gonna have so much ventilation, you're gonna have so many chairs, and so I'm just thinking through that part of it. I mean, it's definitely something that's needed for the neighborhood. It's definitely something that vocationally could benefit the community a lot. Let me think through that. Let me think through that part and figure it out. Another thing is, we get more revenue out of having ownership in it versus just turning it into a leased building, because the whole goal is for us to be able to get really good returns, to be able to buy more of the neighborhood and continue that process. But I love the idea of the barber school being there. Let me think through that. When you went through, did you reach out to me, or who'd you talk to?
No, actually, it was just a cold call. We actually we were scheduled to go earlier and he couldn't make it. And so he just called me on a whim and asked me to go through and show him the space. And so we actually met the guy that you mentioned earlier, the guy that lives there and helps out around the maintenance.
Oh, Kendrick. Yeah.
Kendrick.
Yeah.
We met Kendrick. Kendrick walked us around the building, and you know, the guy checked it out. I think he's interested in a number of opportunities. Definitely, like you mentioned, the vocational part of it and bringing that type of opportunity to potential barbers in the neighborhood is something that he's interested in. I told him about this opportunity and he loved it. So I think that if we wanted or approached him with part ownership, I think he'd entertain that as well. But you know, I'll just think about it. Let me know.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's awesome. Yeah. Let me think that through. Yeah. I think the property on the other side would be good. Would still be really good for that also. But barber school, maybe something we can get launched quicker. Okay. Yeah. I mean, let me think through it. I like the idea. I like the idea. Okay.
Hi, Chris. I don't know who's next in line. Is there a line for who want to speak?
I should be smart enough to have an actual list, but I don't. So go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So I logged into the account, what is it called? The Cornix.
Core Connects.
Core Connects, thank you. I logged into it, and as I'm trying to learn, how do I see basically how much did my shares make? And my second question is, how then do I also appoint a beneficiary to stuff like this as well too? I'm new to all of this.
So the beneficiary part would not be on the platform. You'd have to go through an attorney to do that part, just like you do all your other assets. You just, you know, let them know who inherits this as one of your assets. But what we're talking about earlier, Liz, is the fact that the platform is still building out the ability to show the value increases and to show the share distributions. So that's why I sent out a PDF chart that kind of just shows you where everybody is with their investment. And so you can just reference that for now and just know that it's there. And if you elected to get your payouts or whatever, then you know exactly what you're getting.
Chris. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, so as a follow-up question to the payout part, again, like I said, I'm new to this investing life. So am I supposed to want to pay it out, or is that something I need to get with a financial advisor on? It's like, because I've never touched it, I've never asked for anything, I just have it sitting there. Is that not wise?
Well, I mean, it's good. I mean, these investments aren't big, but on larger investments, it's like, as long as you own stock and it's still in the stock market account, you watch the value go up and nothing really affects you. The second you take it out, though, you got that's an income incident, and that's taxable. So these are very small numbers. You still technically have to report it if you pull it out. And also the people that leave their shares in are first in line to buy more. I mean, leave their distributions in, they're first in line to buy more shares when more shares come available. Because I mean, it's inevitable people are going to want to sell no matter how good the project is. People find better uses for their money. People may be getting married, may want a big down payment for a house, anything, you never know, may want to start their own business. So, we're always gonna have people that want to sell. So there'll always be opportunities to buy. It's just, those that have expressed interest in wanting to buy more and left shares in will be first in line to get more. So, but it's really your choice, Liz. There's no right or wrong answer for that.
Chris, I'm interested to learn more about this charter school. Is it a charter school that you're looking to start yourself, or will this be an outside entity? I work in education. So I worked for a charter school for 7 years, and now I work in public education. And I have considered moving to Texas. I was looking at Dallas, but I might just come down to the 5th Ward and come and kick it with you.
There we go. Yeah. So I mean, one of the big issues we always have with our neighborhoods when they're going through gentrification is because people that don't look like us will buy a house in a neighborhood that's redeveloping, and they can afford to send their kids to private school somewhere else, right? While the values triple and quadruple in the neighborhood. Well, a lot of us don't have that luxury. So charter school that's high performing is going to be the most efficient solution for that, because it's publicly funded, just like all the regular schools, but they can bring in their own twist on the curriculum. They have to abide by state regulations, but they have the ability to tweak things to get their performance higher. So I'm a strong believer in letting the experts be the expert. While I would love to start my own charter school, I don't have the bandwidth for that. So I literally recruited the top performing Black charter school system in the country. They have over 20 locations. They have 12 in DC. They have now they have 8 in Arkansas. All of their schools are in low income areas. They have 15% of their student population considered homeless, 85% of their student population free and reduced lunch, 95% of their kids are Black. Every single campus performs in the top 10% in their area, in their district, and in their state. They one of the elementary schools they just opened in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, which is a very poor Black community, just performed in the top 6% in the state. And they've only been in the state of Arkansas for 3 years. So this is going to be their first Texas location. Like I said, it's going to be 2 blocks away from our property. So that's going to increase the value. People are going to want to live there just because they're hearing that this really top performing Black charter school system is coming. And that's not it. The founder of the charter school system was the lead usher at MLK's funeral. And they own all their assets. They own over $200 million worth of real estate because they own most of the school campuses where the school districts actually allowed them to buy the campuses. And then they are backed by the Walton Family Foundation, which is the Walmart folks. So it's tremendous opportunity for us to bring something great. All the school leadership is Black, superintendents, principals. Every classroom has a lead teacher and at least one assistant teacher. I mean, it's a phenomenal system.
That is awesome. I'm looking forward to it. And I have to throw that shield up there, being that you was talking about.
It wasn't that one. That one's all right. That one's all right.
Ow, ow. Ow,
It wasn't that one.
Which one was it? Hold up.
Iota's.
Iota fight
He's trying to tease
No,
that.
that's the wrong one. Which one was it? What's the right one?
That was the right one.
That was the right one, right? Okay. We got a bunch of friends on the call.
Yeah. I got a question I just realized. So if I invested with an account that's no longer active, what happens?
Oh, nothing. I mean, we always confirm distributions or payouts before we send anything anywhere. So we just need to update your information. I'm not sure if you have to put your banking information in Core Connects yet, but I will make sure that it'll be accurate before we.
So should we be registering with Core Connects now?
Oh yeah, definitely. And everyone should have received the email to set up an account like 5 or 6 months ago. So just type Core Connects into your email search bar. If you don't see it, send me that email and copy support at Core Connects. Tell them you want to get your account set up. I believe the last time I checked, they said only about half of the investors have set their accounts up. So you can go ahead and do that.
I set my account up tonight in preparation for this meeting, and it went pretty quickly. You know, I just clicked the sign up button, loaded my information, and obviously they had my name and email address already preloaded into the system. So once I signed up on their website, it automatically pulled up my portfolio and showed my shares and how much I invested. So it's not a difficult process from my experience anyway.
Appreciate that insight. Love it. Okay, wait. I do see a feature of people raising their hands. Who is it? Who is their hands raised? Oh, Nicole Noel.
Hello?
Yes. Hey, Nicole, I can hear you.
Oh, great. Thank you. I just want to say thank you very much. I love what we're doing. And I wanted to ask about further investment as far as like if I can do a 1031 exchange into this, or if I could do self-directed IRA into this.
You definitely can do both if we have enough capacity to do it. Which means if I have enough shares available for more outside investments. But yeah, you definitely can do 1031s because if it's something similar type of real estate you owned before, you can do that. And then the self-directed IRA, of course, we actually have a few investors already in that use their IRAs for investing.
Oh, great. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, then Brittany, I see you on the list.
Hey, yeah. You were mentioning earlier that you were trying to figure out a better way to communicate, and I was wondering if you ever looked into Discord.
You know what? I've tried Discord. It seems a little complicated, but it's definitely something to look at. Discord, Telegram, one of those channels where you can
like Discord.
You like Discord? Okay.
If you
okay.
need help setting it up, I'm on Discord a lot, so I could help you set it up if you are looking for someone that could take that off your shoulders.
All right, I'm gonna hold you to it then. Let's do it. Let's do that. Discord.
There's also Telegram.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I'm used to Telegram. Can Telegram do like the group conversations, like the same thing, like the was one everybody was on for a long time?
I think it could, but I feel like Discord would be a little more organized because you can have like not folders, but folders for lack of a better word right now. And you could put some of these links and everything you've been sending us.
Okay.
And even just the link for like the Dropbox directly in the Discord, and people can always go back to that certain link within the Discord and just find out the information there.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, why don't you connect with me afterwards and we'll start that process to get that set up.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
All right. T. Riddup Sparks.
Hey, it's Tanaya. How you doing?
Naya, I'm good. How are you?
Hey, I just wanted to ask really quickly. You were speaking about the charter school. What's the name of the school?
Oh, duh, I should have said that. Friendship Education Systems. Let me put their link in the chat as well, so you guys can see that.
Okay, I did Google it. I thought it might be Friendship, but I wasn't sure, so I wanted to just verify.
Friendshipusa.org is the website.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. All right, then we have Brian. Brian Nagel.
Got me replying in the Slack on Slack.
Oh.
On the Slack, it's not Slack wouldn't be great, by the way, just because the history goes away. You don't have the Discord might work though. But yeah, sorry, I was a little bit late joining, but I had a question. So if you covered this on the returns update that you put out, I was kind of curious. You put share value at 52, which is about a 4% increase. I was curious how that correlated to the appraisals going from, I think it was like 1.3 when it closed. And then the January last year was 1.7. So that was like that's a 30%. So I was wondering how the 4% on the share value correlates against that.
Yeah. So you got to remember that was forced appreciation. What forced appreciation means is it didn't happen completely on its own. That's because we spent $400,000 on the property to get that value increase. And so once I get it reappraised and we really know where the numbers are next time, then it'll increase more. It's not going to be a direct correlation from value because expenses also go up, everything goes up. Yeah.
So what was the 1.3 then? The devaluation or the depreciation then?
What do you mean?
Well, so the at closing is 1.3, right? And then last appraisal is 1.7.
Right.
So you're saying about the depreciation somewhere, like how that correlated to, so that was that's a 30% change, right?
Right. And then, share value also, when you're looking at even like companies and corporations, the valuation of the actual business doesn't directly correlate all the way to the share value. It's still an open market where, you're testing the waters. And with this process being so new with this crowdfund, if I'm too aggressive with that, then it throws up red flags, right? How the share value go up so much.
Right.
So just being very conservative with all those different things. wanted to see where the market is. Like I said, let's say if I did go up a full 30% and it's $70, well, would people want to buy the shares after that if they just pay 50 for them?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of market things that we're also considering in the process of increasing those values. And you know, at that point, we were still very, very, very early in the process. So once this next appraisal comes around, I'll be able to put out a little bit more science behind why the value went up to what it did. Because we'll have had a round of shares traded where people sold and people bought and all that kind of stuff too.
Cool. Yeah, I was just wondering what was going into the new valuation.
Yep.
Sounds good. Thanks, man.
No problem. All right, let's see. Enel, guess I'm saying that right.
Yes, I'm.
Okay, your reception isn't too.
I question about the future of complex.
Can't really hear you, Enel. You want to type the question?
Is this better?
A little bit. Try again. No, I can't. I still can't hear you.
Is that better?
Yep, much better.
Okay, I'll try and type. Okay, now I see it. I have a question about the apartment complex, the future apartment complex.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Good.
Okay.
So you have a question about the
I was
apartment
just
complex.
wondering, is this group a part? Yes. Is this group a part of that already, or will that be a future crowdfunding?
You know what? That's a great question. Right now, no, but I mean, I just wanted to share that it's going to tremendously benefit everybody that's a part of this project. But that could be a future opportunity for a crowdfund if we need to do an additional capital raise for their project. Maybe I could do like a family and friends raise, or maybe another Reg CF raise, where that entity that raises the capital could be an entity that invests into that project. It's those bigger projects it's a little bit more complicated. And there's always one big investor that puts in 15, 20 million. It's usually like an institution. Like I have like Wood Forest Bank is putting like $5 million into that project. Sometimes they don't like to see a whole bunch of really small investors in deals. But if we can structure it a way where it's one entity where the money's raised on the side, then that one entity is the investment vehicle to get into the deal, and one decision maker. It's something that could be possible. I haven't really explored that avenue, but yeah, great question. It's something else I can think about. All right, let's see. Adriana.
Hi, Chris.
Hey.
First, I want to thank you so much for always responding when I have questions about, little things about the account. And for the opportunity, this is amazing. I had a question for you about that lending project you mentioned. I also participated in that, and I was wondering if you were planning to have a Zoom call for that for updates.
I can do that too. Yeah, that one is a lot more straightforward. But yeah, I can do one. Maybe I'll try to schedule one later this month for that, so you guys can kind of see, where those uses of funds have been going. Some of it's actually gone to pre-development for a few of the home buyers in the neighborhood. Basically holding the land for them, buy it from a wholesaler, hold it for them until they can get everything that they have to get in place to be able to actually build their home, versus a wholesaler getting it and needing to get it paid in 2 weeks. And then, then it has to go to an investor that's just gonna, gentrify or do whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That would be great.
I'll do that too. Yep.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, guys. So we're running up on 8:15. Hopefully I got everybody's question answered. I'll give you one more minute. If anybody has one last question, we can do that. And if not, we'll close it out. And then once again, I'll put this into the Dropbox folder, and then we'll get this Discord set up so that going forward, we'll have even better process.
Hey, Chris, I'll hop in if no one has one. And you might, apologies if you mentioned it earlier, I had to hop off for a minute. Did you do a cost segregation study?
No, I haven't. I mean, that's something that I could do, but we, like I said, this whole process was so new. I wouldn't even know that we would be able to get it evaluated correctly.
Yeah, that was my concern too.
Yeah, so many nuances to it. But it's something that we could do. I mean, maybe after 2 years, it'll make more sense. But yeah, I mean, I think that'd be something that would be good for. I know some folks in here are new to investing, some are very savvy. And I just want to make sure that everybody kind of feels like, the questions that they have, we have the data behind them to be able to make everybody feel comfortable with the investments and feel comfortable going forward. So.
No, sounds good. And I know it's a very subjective thing. So.
Right. Yeah. All right, everyone. Well, I appreciate everyone that hopped on. I'm gonna call the talented 10%, because out of the 1,500, we've had it fluctuated between 150, a little over 200 people a night. So I know a lot of people have other things going on, so that's why I'm recording it so everybody can catch up. But once again, guys, channels of communication are open. You have my direct email. You have Core Connect's email. You can text through the text number that I have. Of course, social media is, I talk to a lot of you guys through all different social media platforms as well. So once again, appreciate everybody that's involved. Looking forward to the next update. And as soon as I get the information from Core Connects and let me know when that's going to be done, I'll round up everybody for another Zoom call so we can all walk through that.
Thanks so much, Chris.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
It's a lot, right?
Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Keep
running, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Chris.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
See
Thanks,
you,
Chris.
Chris. Do your thing, Chris.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Out. All right, brother.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, Chris.